Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike, and I'm an addict. For those of you just joining, I'm sharing with you my 12-step journey with the Life Recovery Bible devotionals, and then working through the Life Recovery Bible journal. Today's reading comes from page 325 in the Life Recovery Bible. We're in the book of Judges. Step 1. We admitted that we are powerless over our problems, that our lives have become unmanageable. When we refuse to admit our powerlessness, we are only deceiving ourselves. The lies we tell ourselves and others are familiar. I can stop anytime I want to. I'm in control. This one won't hurt anything. And all the while, we are inching closer to disaster. Samson was one of Israel's judges. As a child, he had been dedicated to God, and God had gifted him with supernatural strength. But Samson had a lifelong weakness, the way he related to women. Samson was especially blinded to the dangers he faced in his relationship with Delilah. His enemies were paying her to discover the secret of his strength. 3 times she begged Samson to tell her his secret. Each time she shut him up and tried to hand him over to the enemy. 3 times Samson lied to her and was able to escape, but each time he got closer to telling her the truth. Finally, Samson revealed his secret, was taken captive, and died a slave at his enemy's hands. Samson's real problem can be found in the lies he told himself. By not admitting his powerlessness, he remained blind to the obvious danger that his pride and desire for beautiful foreign women were leading him into. This caused him to gradually inch his way towards his untimely death. We need to be careful not to fall into a similar trap. As we learn to acknowledge our powerlessness over our addictive compulsive tendencies daily, we will become more aware of the behaviors that would likely lead us to destruction. And then there's a little side note here on Judges chapter 16, 14 through 17. That's pretty relevant. It says, the love affair between Samson and Delilah is one of the saddest examples of the dysfunctional relationship in history. We are told that Samson did love Delilah, but Delilah clearly valued money above their relationship. It should have been obvious to Samson that Delilah was working with the Philistines to destroy him, but to get the physical pleasures he craved, Samson led Delilah on, staying in a situation he should have ran from. He blindly believed he was virtually indestructible. This left him open to utter humiliation and suffering. If we hope to succeed in recovery, we need to recognize our weaknesses and avoid situations where we are vulnerable. You know, that's so true. Whether it's chasing relationships or chasing our drugs or alcohol, whatever it is, we lie to ourselves. We convince ourselves that we got it handled. We convince ourselves that it's not destructive for us, you know, and it's just like we see examples that are thousands of years old in the Bible that still relate to us today, and that's amazing to me. Now to the workbook, we got 5 questions they ask, and these are my personal experiences for those of you just joining us. So, what's the longest time I've been able to stop addictive behaviors or using addictive substances? The key word there is addictive behaviors. So I've been sober for years. You know, longest I've been sober before now is like 10 years. I was incarcerated, but, you know, for those of you that have been in prison, especially federal prison, you realize drugs are everywhere. Actually, everywhere I've ever been locked up, drugs are everywhere. So I chose to be sober, but that was bare knuckle sobriety. That was all willpower. I wasn't working those steps or nothing. It's values and beliefs. What I value and believe when I'm incarcerated is I gotta stay on my toes. I gotta stay on point so drugs don't appeal to me. Also, probably a little deeper than that, I feel comfortable in prison. I know what's going on. You know, I don't have anything I need to cover up with a substance. As crazy as that sounds, it's the truth. So my longest time right now, it's a little over 2 years, almost 2.5 years, where I stopped the addictive behaviors and stopped using substances. What are some of the reasons I use starting my behavior substance or abuse again? What makes me relapse is the pain, mental health, and boredom. You know, boredom has a lot to do with it. Last time I relapsed right now, before I went back to prison, was boredom. I got out of prison, and instead of reaching out to those that I need to make amends to, my children, my granddaughter, my mother, I came home and was off and running within 2 days. Within 6 weeks, I was back in jail on a sanction. Within 4 months after that, I was headed back to prison. What are things I think I can control? How do I lie to myself, and about what? Everything. Currently I'm being honest with myself, but in the past, I lied about being in control of life. I really literally had it in my head that I control everything, every aspect, everyone, everything around me. And that's just not the case. That's not the case for no one. We can barely control ourselves, much less anything or anyone else around us. 4, what is so scary about telling the truth? For me, it's the fear of being judged. You know, the fear of being judged for failure, the fear of being judged for just wasted intelligence, just everything that comes along with addiction. It's like people always say, you know, Mike, for being so smart, you sure are dumb. Well, it has nothing to do with ignorance. It has to do with addiction. It has to do with choosing this substance over everything in my life. Number 5, as I explore powerlessness, what blind spots have I discovered? Only through faith in God and daily life recovery 12 steps work can I stay sober, because I am powerless and my life has become unmanageable. I've been doing this 12-step thing over and over again for the last 2 years now, and it works. They say if you work it, it works. Keep coming back. I always thought that was just, you know, people trying to sound wise, but it's not just sobriety. It's not just that I'm sober. Since I've been getting up and reading the Bible every day and working the 12 steps and working other aspects of sobriety, including wellness, setting goals for myself, SMART goals, they call it, I feel complete. I feel whole. And that's out there. For those of you that are struggling in addiction right now, I'm telling you, if you put in this work, and it's not even as exhausting. I like to say, when I was getting high, I put everything into getting high. And now I finally realized that I have to put everything into staying sober. But honestly, it's not as exhausting as chasing the bag. Nowhere near. You know, I get up in the morning, I pray, I read my Bible, I work these steps, I share with you guys, I share with other people throughout the day. And, you know, it's like a normal life. Yeah, it gets boring sometimes, but I feel complete. I feel whole. And that's out there for anybody. So with that, I'll say have a blessed day. God bless you. Stay sober. Just for today, another 24.